Okay, I think Suzanne is ready to go. So get the questions listed there. There she is. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Bev. Thanks so much for doing the opening act. We said that you're kind of like the Ed McMahon of the Sanaya sessions. That's my wonderful assistant, Bev. I couldn't do any of this work without her. And I want to welcome everybody from all over the world. We've been watching the names pop up there to see where everybody's from, and it's just fascinating. So thank you for joining us tonight. We have a very large crowd, bigger than we could fit in the Unity Church where we normally do our sessions. I'm joined here this evening by a wonderful group from our Heart Circle that's been meeting together for, oh gosh, how long, guys? 6 years, 7 years? About 6 or 7 years here, right here in the study where we've been meeting for the last year. This is going to be, it's our second session. It's going to be a little different than the last one. Many of you joining tonight were here for that one. We don't have music this evening. It was wonderful last time, but the sound quality was not good enough to do justice to So Good, our wonderful singing duo who joined us. And I'm not going to spend as much time on the introduction this evening because we all want to hear from Sanaya. I want to feel them. And so I'll just say a few words and then we'll get into it. I have no idea how long they're going to talk. They're going to answer a lot of questions, I'm fairly sure, because they've set that intention and got the sign that they would do that, and I just don't know how many questions we'll be able to take. But as Deb has been saying in advance, the way that will go is Sanaya will ask questions, and many of you have already been submitting them by typing them in the chat, I believe. Is that right, Bev? In chat?
In the Q&A.
Sorry. Okay, so you submit your questions in the Q&A, and these would be questions of a general philosophical or spiritual question. This is your chance, like a genie in a bottle, to ask a higher consciousness as the spirit world, which of course is something that all of you are encouraged to do every day, to ask your own team. If there's anything I want to get across, it's that we all have a team of guides. We all have our own Sanaya group. That's just the name that my team gave me. But this is something that all of you can develop, and you don't have to wait for special events like this. You can sit in the silence every day and ask those questions at a higher level, which is always where you're advised to go when you have any challenge that you don't know how to solve. So I want to thank Bev for the pre-show. I want to thank so many of you who answered the call and afforded others the opportunity to participate this evening. I mentioned online when you registered, we were a little shocked when we went over 1,000 participants to find out that it would cost $995 a month, including back months, to host these. And my wonderful husband, Ty, only gulped a little bit. I said, honey, guess what? And so it was beautiful. It has been beautiful to see the way that many of you have given donations to allow this to take place, because I didn't want to go in the hole to do this. And so we did make enough money to make this possible, and then a little extra. So 100% of that extra, thanks to all of you, is going to our scholarship fund. And somebody mentioned the other day that we have never mentioned how many scholarships, but to date, because of the work with Sanaya and many people's generosity, we have given 8 scholarships so far to single moms who are trying to put themselves through nursing school. So it's wonderful to use this for that reason. Okay, Bev, for some reason I went off the camera. There we are already. So I wanted to tell you that the last time we had people from 30 countries joined us for this webinar. And I won't know till afterwards how many people came, but Ty and I were so surprised to see that 30 people in Afghanistan signed up for this webinar. Wow. And I looked at the first name and I said, this must be one of our U.S. service members in Afghanistan. How cool is that? That our great military members are tuning into Sanaya overseas. And I shared it with Ty and I said, oh my gosh, look, 30 people from the bases over there. Ty said, we should package up a gift box of your book, Messages of Hope, and the DVD, Messages of Hope. We'll send it to Bagram Air Force Base, and we'll get one of the people to distribute it to everybody. I said, great, let me see if I can pick a good name. And I went back to the list, and I started going down the list, and I said, I'm going to make up the name because I don't want to out her, but I said, Mary Smith, she's not in Afghanistan. Wait a minute. I went down the list, and Jane Doe, she's not in Afghanistan. And I suddenly realized what happened. When you all registered for this webinar, you had to do a pull-down menu to choose your country. And of course, United States is at the top, followed immediately by Afghanistan. So we did not have 30 people from Afghanistan, but we did have many people from 29 other countries. So we thank those of you who are joining us this evening, and some people getting up real early in the morning to join us from around the world. Two quick things before we bring in Sanaya. Bev has been showing some slides ahead of time, and we'll put some up at the end as well. But I'm very happy to announce a brand new workshop that has just come together, a collaborative effort between me and a very dear friend and colleague, an evidential medium, as I am. Her name is Suzanne Wilson, and she's in Scottsdale, Arizona. We met last year for the first time. Both of us have worked with afterlife researcher Dr. Gary Schwartz and been tested by him, and we both have very high standards for ourselves as far as bringing through evidence from those on the other side. Besides our name, Suzanne, we have a lot in common. It's almost scary how much we have in common. And she and I are going to be doing a workshop in May 20th and 21st in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we're calling it Up Close and Personal. It's up close and personal with us, but it's about how to get up close and personal with your team of guides. 2 full days of experiential exercises, sharing and learning each of our techniques, talking with us about how we work to meet your team and get a closer relationship with them. The information for that is to be found at SuzanneandSuzanne.com, but her name is spelled with an S, so that's SuzanneandSuzanne.com. Also on the calendar of events on my website, and it'll be up on Suzanne's website. But we just, thanks to Bev's hard efforts, went live with registrations this evening. So that will fill up, and if you want to join us in Scottsdale in May, check that out. So that's enough for the commercial announcements. Just one other thing, anybody who's been to my live sessions with Sanaya, you know that I always like to share a bit of the magic from my readings as a medium, the latest wows from the other side. And I had one that just came in today, and I shared it with Ty, and he was stunned, and I quickly got permission from the woman involved to share her story, even though it's anonymous and nobody would ever figure out who it is. It just didn't feel right unless I got her permission to share the details. So it's very unusual how spirit works. Those of you who are budding mediums out there know that sometimes you may get spirits on the other side, a whole slew of spirits who took their own lives all in a row, or a whole slew of spirits who may have had a drug overdose in a row, or a slew of spirits with cancer. It's like my teacher, Mavis Patilla, told me, those on the other side, the word gets around, hey, there's this medium down there, and she's really good at getting through people who died like we did. And then they get their family members to contact the medium, which just sounds crazy to us, but I don't know any other explanation for how that works. So anyway, this week, for the first time ever, I've had 3 in a row mothers who lost a baby under 1 year. So the first one that came through was quite challenging for me, because as an evidential medium, I like to sense of personality and memories and history, and these children don't have that. But the third one was just yesterday morning, and I didn't know that this is who she'd lost. But the moment I sat with her, I sensed that she'd lost a child. I had her on video, and the very first thing I sensed, I had discomfort in my abdomen and my stomach. And I usually feel the spirits who have passed, I feel their physical symptoms as if they're my own. But this time, I sensed a guide pointing at my sitter, the client, saying, this issue goes with her. So I said, I'm being told that you have an issue in your abdomen or stomach. I'm feeling discomfort there. She said, no, I don't have any. And I said, well, that doesn't make sense because this is very clear. So, all right, let's move on. I have sensed you've lost a child, but this is a very young baby, under a year old. She said, yes. I tuned in. I said, it died of SIDS. She said, yes, he did. So accuracy right off the bat, but I was sensing this from guides, not from the child. Then I saw this symbol like this. I said, I'm being told that that soul will be reincarnated, recycled. It's coming back to you, that soul is, because there's a contract that the two of you, that child and both parents are supposed to be together. But the child had some kind of a defect that it's passing at such an early age saved you from a lot more grief down the line. But it's going to come back to you again because you are meant to come together. And I couldn't tell if this provided her any comfort at all, but I just expressed to her that I sensed that the child was fine, but she would see it again. The whole reading, nobody else came through. I said, your parents are not on the other side. I sense this. They're not here. You haven't lost anyone else. She said, that's correct. So the whole reading only lasted 15 minutes. I said, your baby is fine. You have the message. There's no charge for this short reading. I know all will be well. We ended the reading. I got an email from her this morning. The discomfort, she said, Suzanne, I just took a pregnancy test. I'm pregnant.
Oh.
Yay.
I hope you all got goosebumps just like I just did, because Spirit knows. They know. I got the symptoms. I don't know who was giving me that. Her guides, her team, I don't know. But how comforting for her to know that even before she and her husband knew it, that was what was going on with her. And so now she has a whole new way of looking at this. When that baby comes back through, it's a second try because they're meant to be together. How cool is that? Okay, so that's an example of communicating with spirits. On the other side, we're going to take this a bit higher now and invite in my team of guides, Sanaya. I'm not going to tell you how this works or what I'm doing to get there, because that's all on my website. You can look that up later. But it will take me up to 2 minutes to surrender and go deep enough to be able to bring them through, to allow myself to be Sanaya's voice. I'm going to ask us here to join hands, and the reason I have this group here is because of the energy. I meditate every morning and I bring through Sanaya, but it's nothing like having real life other human beings here to raise the energy. So they're here as my battery chargers, but guess what? The realm we go to when we pray, when we connect with our hearts, we're all connected. So all of you around the world, United States, Canada, all those other countries, maybe even somebody from Afghanistan, you can be the battery chargers this evening too. So just imagine you're joining hands with people all over the country for the sole purpose of getting to know our souls. So please join me now as we set our intention this evening. In awareness that all is spirit, and we are that. We're so grateful for this opportunity to sit together as one group using technology to join our hearts as one. Across the miles, joining at that place where there are no miles. We are all so joined by love. May we feel that this evening. So many of us going through challenges, may we feel the higher energy that is present when we connect with higher consciousness. I invite my team Sanaya to come in to speak through me this evening so that all are touched with their messages. We will open our hearts, share the love, feel the gratitude for this experience. May each of us hear exactly what we need to hear this evening. May I get out of the way more than ever before so that all may experience the greatest possible good. And so it is.
So it is.
All right. Okay, so please just open your hearts and turn up that love as I go into the silence. As I said, it could be up to 1 to 2 minutes until I surrender enough. If you see this silly little, awful little twitch in my lip, that's my guide, Boris, stepping in to say, surrender already. All right, so I'll see you all later. Good evening.
Good
evening.
And it has taken this one a bit longer this evening to feel our presence. And we wish to tell you that for her it feels a bit of a panicky feeling, and that is part of the problem. For panic and fear are part and parcel of being human. If you could hear what she was experiencing through this apparatus in the ears, it was a bit of a cacophony, much noise, electronic noise, and the very moment that we did settle into the physical field, the noise ceased. We wish to tell you that all of you are capable of feeling our presence this evening by merely attuning to the heart. The advice given to you earlier by this one, that you too can do this work of attuning to your guides, is very good advice. It is fine to listen to another, to find a guru, and we wish to tell you that this one is the last one to ask you to look upon her as a guru. It is one thing we have been advising her, to not ask any to latch on, but to teach a man to fish, as you would understand. And so through this one, we are teaching you that all the guidance you seek is available to you at any time. And it begins with the belief that you are part of something so much greater than yourself. And that self, if we were to write it, would be self with a small s. What you are a part of is the greater self with a capital S, where all souls are joined as one. This group gathered here, physically present with this one this evening, is gathered in a circle, for the circle is the perfect symbol of the oneness, the unity of all of you. These physical bodies that you carry around get in the way of you knowing how very connected you are. We wish to give you a visualization this evening. If you were to discard the body, what would be left? Many of you might picture your Casper the ghost, formless, ghost-like appearances, but picture instead a bright light, a miniature sun with sunbeams, rays going out in all directions. And that is how we see each of you, individual lights, but all burning your rays, combining your rays into each other. Can you picture this? All of you individual lights, but all of you are but rays of one central sun, the one spirit from which you arise. Oh, if you could only walk about seeing your brothers and sisters in this way, discord would fall away. There would be no more arguing. And we wish you to know that the disparity that you are experiencing now around the world, not just in this imaginary bordered country known as the United States. A border is a human construct necessary for order amongst humans who do not realize who you are, but it does cause separation. And so you must find within yourself that fine line between being a human and being a spirit, being a realist and an idealist, between one who knows there must be order and one who needs no order, who merely flows. You can switch back and forth at will, but we wish to tell you that quite a few of you have become a bit stuck in the mud, as you would understand it. You are very fixed in your positions right now. For many of you, even though watching us this evening, you know in your hearts who you are, that you are a spirit, and you have answered that call to be with us this evening. Do tend to forget a bit the moment you open your newspapers, the moment you turn on your news and you take sides and you plant your stake even deeper into the mud. We wish you to clear off the muck and the grime from the lens through which you project your light, and to see each other as lights. And perhaps you could do us a favor and laugh. Laugh at yourself, laugh at your fellow human beings for taking all of this so seriously. Immediately, we feel the backlash from hundreds of you listening, saying, but my God, it is serious. This is my livelihood. These are my friends affected by what is going on at this human level. And of course, this is true at the human level, but you cannot effect change, our friends, hear us well, unless you learn to flip that switch, change that channel, not only on your televisions, but the changing of the channel between levels of human and spirit. Hear us well. At the level of spirit, you will not wish to laugh, but neither will you cry. You will simply observe with compassion how you humans do dig into your position and how it causes you to not see greater solutions, cooperative solutions, solutions that come from love. There is enough food for all. There is enough money for all. These are all human challenges which you are left to work out for yourselves as long as you think you are only human. We are willing to help you, but the advice will always come back to love. And we dare say that our answers this evening will also come back to that one main essence which lies within you, for it is the challenge that all of you face, to find the love and know that love heals all. And with that in mind, setting the challenge that we bring the word love into every answer we provide this evening, we are willing to take on the challenge of answering your questions. And so the assistant of this one is standing by with questions submitted from all of you, questions to benefit all of you. May you all hear what you are meant to hear this evening. Will you please ask the first question?
Yes, from Joanne. When death is certain due to terminal illness, is taking one's life to avoid agonizing pain and torturing the loved ones who have to watch, is that considered suicide when death is imminent?
We are laughing at this one, for this question was asked of her earlier in the day, and she did not want to go there. She did not know the answer, and we have given it to her first question. You may think, Miss Beverly, that you have asked the question and that Joanne has asked the question, but you have been set up. Is suicide ever warranted? We will go back always to what is the motive, what is the intention. And you, Joanne, have stated this beautifully. For you have stated that one is in pure agony, and there is no benefit for a human to go through such agony. But you have also stated that because of this agony, all those around are also in agony. There is a reason for a human to be here if others around them can learn. Certainly, lessons often come in difficult, challenging ways. And so, because humans do like their answers in black and white, but we are coming from a level above the human world, above the black and white of your yin-yang symbol, our answers will be a bit gray. And so, we ask you to know that each situation is different, but when the answer always comes from the heart and is made with love, then you will know what answer to take. We will tell you that no soul is judged by any other for actions taken. The soul always judges itself. And so knowing what is in the heart, when decisions are made through the heart, putting yourself on the other side, stepping fully into the soul to make a decision from a higher place, consulting with higher guidance before taking such drastic measures, then you will know your answer. In the situation given, we will tell you that it would be fully understood why this decision was made. There is no damnation in this case, and we will tell you that this soul would be met with great understanding, and the lessons would already have been learned and would be hard enough for those left behind. Again, no clear yes or no, but always, always motivation and intention are your greatest teachers. We hope we have answered this question satisfactorily. Is there another?
Yes, from Terry. Could you please speak about self-love, taking care of ourselves, versus unconditional love of others who repeatedly are hurtful or abusive?
Would we speak of self-love, taking care of the self, versus the love of others? Yes, indeed. We are repeating this question for those in the room here are not privy to them, whilst this one wears the apparatus in the ears. Self-love is the most important love, for if one cannot take care of the own field, the soul's energetic field, then all else that follows will be detrimental to that soul. There is but one soul. We wish you to understand this. And so, first and foremost, a soul comes here to learn their own lessons, but this happens through interactions with others. Were a soul to live only in a cave, there would not be as many lessons as if interaction were taking place. But for most human beings, you learn from each other. And as has been stated in this question, many of your greatest challenges come from dealing with others who do not know, have not learned, have not removed the blinders enough to know who they are, and therefore they lash out in very human ways at others. All of you have been victims of hurt people. One of the phrases this one repeats quite often is, hurt people, hurt people. And you carry around wounds, all of you. We see these wounds in the brightness or dimness of your light. And so it is very difficult for the human being, not the soul, the human being, to express the love and light that is within whilst carrying about wounds. And therefore, self-healing is critical. Always, always we advise you to begin your day by clearing the body of lower vibrations which may have accrued through the dream state. We advise you to end your day by clearing vibrations, the energy centers of the lower vibrations gathered by interacting with hurt and wounded human beings, dissonant energies. Throughout the day, as you become aware of dissonant energies through your interactions with others who are incapable of unconditional love, who do not realize that you are here to express love, this must be cleared. Self-care includes such things as this clearing of energy. Very, very important. We advise you to get out into nature. Even if you are living in a city environment, get out in the sunlight, breathe in the fresh air, clear your energy field frequently. Be cautious and careful of what you feed your mind. Watch your thoughts. So many ways. Moderation in what you eat, what you drink. We will not give you advice about this or that. Merely follow your heart. But these are all ways which make a tremendous impact on your own energetic field. So self-care is of primary importance indeed. And then you are more capable of looking at those around you and seeing what is radiating towards you. And then no matter what is coming with you, because you have fortified your field, you are able to send back love instead of fighting fire with fire. Can you see? It is like sitting on your airplane and you are advised to put the oxygen mask on yourself first so that you do not run out of air before providing succor to the one next to you, the child. When you are dealing with lower vibrations, it is the same. You must build up your own energetic field to be able to respond from a higher level to those around you. When you can get to the point where you respond only and always with love, then you will truly have realized spiritual growth. And that is why you are here, for the growth of the soul. Do not throw blame on others, projecting the responsibility. It always lies within to be that which you are, which is love. Another question, please.
Yes, from Robert. Would you please speak about self-defense, both as an individual and as a nation, when we are confronted with aggression?
We will speak of self-defense both as an individual and as a nation. And yet again, this comes back to motive and to the greater good. For did not the one known as Jesus teach you to turn the cheek? Quite difficult for humans to learn to do this. You have known many who you call heroes, who have sacrificed their lives, not putting up defense, in order to save the lives of others, throwing oneself on a hand grenade to save one's bodies. And these are combatants doing what? Hopefully defending a nation against others who are not in a place to understand that war is a last resort. Again, we come back to this challenge that always greets those in a world such as yours, where duality is constantly dancing back and forth. You have wars, you must defend nations, for there are those opposites, the aggressors and the defenders. Defenders. This one does not like it when we do not use proper English. In any case, we get back to the issue earlier, which was spoken of being a realist and an idealist. The more one awakens to the love that you are, you wish that all see the world through rose-colored glasses, your human world. You wish for war to end immediately. Would that it were so. Would it not be wonderful for all to awaken instantly and know that there is no need to fight sunbeam against sunbeam? But if that were to happen, why then this experiment known as Earth School would dissolve, for there would be no more need. It is through the opposites, the dancing back and forth, that you are given opportunities to love. And so, to get to the answer of your question, self-defense, it is hardwired into the human to react this way. It is part of the reptilian brain, the oldest animal part of the human being's wiring, to defend oneself. And we understand this at the level of spirit. We do not expect all humans to respond if someone is aggressive, to throw up the hands and say, I surrender. It is understood. But there comes a moment when one steps into the higher power and has a moment then to decide, what is my action? And in this case, you have those who say, I can no longer bear arms. For I truly have come to a different level of understanding. There are many different levels. We judge none of them. We ask each of you to ask in your heart, when is enough enough? And that is our answer. Will it serve the greater good to defend? This is another question you can ask yourself. Will lives be saved? More lives be saved? Will lessons be learned? More so than if there is defense. Always the question comes back to the heart, knowing, of course, that there will be an initial reaction. We hope this has answered your question. Is there another?
From Debbie, my question is about karma. Is it real? I don't want to believe so because that might mean I deserve the tragic death of my daughter. On the other hand, I would like it for the person who caused her death.
We wish to tell you that we would like you to see all of your lives as tracks on a CD or a record, if you remember what records are. And so individual tracks are how we see your many lives as an oversoul taking place and unfolding now. And what you are actually experiencing is similar circumstances in each of these lives so that you can work out certain issues. Many of you understand this as karma. The death of a loved one is never a punishment. Every challenge that each of you faces is an opportunity for expressing more love. What to you at the moment seems the greatest tragedy you could experience, such as the death of a child, we are quite aware of the challenge you are facing, and we understand that for you to hear that you asked for such a challenge is anathema to you. You cannot understand it. But we wish to tell you that you are the bravest of souls, those of you who agree to undergo the early passing of a loved one, for it affords the greatest growth, and those who have suffered the death of a child, who come to realize that that child is still with them in another dimension, our world, the spirit world, and go on to spread love as a result of that, to bring more love into the world, knowing that their child's love is still with them and goes on. Then, yes, in a way, frees up karma, for all of the lives at once are brightened by this, and this lesson must no longer be repeated, for the whole is benefited by the lessons that are learned. It is very difficult to understand for the human being to wrap their head around concepts such as this, but yours is a reality in which pain is part of the growth. It is a bit of a perverse way of learning. We understand this, which is why we have said that you are so brave. And it is why so many of you enjoy the respite of coming back to the spirit world, to be enveloped in love by all who suddenly are aware from whence you come, and realizing that had you known and awakened, remembered that you are first and foremost a beautiful soul and so very loved, then your challenges would not have been quite so difficult. It is for this reason that we are pleased to share with all of you this evening, for the very vibration in which you find yourself at this moment, if you were to attune to it now, raises your consciousness, allows you to shine your light all the brighter. Can you feel it? Tune into your heart, turn up the love. In this way, yes, you erase karma as you understand it, for awakening in many cases is a choice. You can go on suffering if you choose to, but we are telling you now, you can make the choice to remember who you are, to follow the heart, know there is something more, and that is why you are called to listen this evening, for the soul has been calling you. Is there another question?
Yes, from Susie. When many people come together to pray, how is that seen in the spirit world?
A bright light. If you could but see the light this evening, you would think that there were a great football game going on in your world, like the light of a stadium, but lights all over your planet. We rejoice at moments such as these. This is but a small gathering. These gatherings are growing, and we wish for you to picture the grid, the field of energy that holds your planet in place. All of you, as human beings, have your own human grid around your planet. We have explained in the past that as individual souls awaken and turn up the light, that entire grid glows brighter, as if there were a dimmer switch. It may feel a bit at certain times in your history that someone has turned the light back, but the growth is always onward and upward as the spiral. And so we see the light turning brighter. And it is group prayers such as this and many of the group meditations, thanks to your internet and the technology allowing hundreds of thousands to come together in prayer at once, that causes bursts of light which raise the overall average luminosity of your grid, thus strengthening all of you. Your souls are brightening. The veil is becoming ever more thin, more and more of you accessing the wisdom, the higher wisdom available to all across the veil, and bringing in, joining the two worlds to bring in more love, more kindness, more compassion. You have noticed the word love coming up again and again. We are a group of beings dedicated to this cause for bringing in love. If you wish scientific answers, we have groups for that, but we are the love group. Thank you for joining us. Is there another question?
Yes, from a viewer. Does life exist outside of Earth? If we ruin our planet, are there soul schools on other planets?
Does life exist outside of Earth if we ruin our Earth? Repeat the question so we can repeat it for this group.
If we ruin our Earth, are there soul schools?
Are there soul schools on other planets? Again, many of you are thinking in terms of only human. The human being is but one expression of the one mind, of the source, of God. Call it what you want, but it expresses itself in limitless ways. Gaze upon your sky and you will see millions and millions of stars. And it is the human that thinks that the human form is the only form that there is, and that the earthly beings are the only ones who have not yet awakened to the limitless nature of who you are. You are so very loved. It is true that God knows every hair on your head. How is this possible? For you are part of that spirit. You are an expression of that spirit, which is expressing itself in billions and billions of forms and without forms, as all that is. And so were you to destroy this school, the experiment of the human being would be over. But you, my friends, would not be over. For the soul cannot be killed, merely transformed. Those who have lost have been transformed into formless souls that they always were. Their school here has ended, but as long as Earth School is in session, they are given the choice to come back again, to try another track on that CD in the simultaneous lifetimes. We will not get into the intricacies of linear time versus the timeless world. But suffice it to say that this experiment goes on, but were it to end, then consciousness, spirit, would find other ways to express itself and ultimately be reconciled into the one mind again and explode into other universes and other realities. It is a bit hard for the human mind to grasp, for the human cannot imagine something greater than itself. Can you imagine the many forms that love can take? Is there another question?
Yes, a viewer asked about organ donation. If part of a body is kept alive and set into another body, can the soul pass on whole?
Again, the thought of a soul passing on whole is human thinking of all or nothing. Uncle Harry, as an entity, becomes another being, and there is nothing left of Uncle Harry. When in fact, Uncle Harry is an aspect of a greater soul. And therefore, if a physical body part of Uncle Harry is transplanted into someone else, and Uncle Harry has returned to the amorphous greater soul that he is, then yes, the recipient of that organ will experience aspects of Uncle Harry, but not the whole of Uncle Harry. Do you understand? Are we making sense to the group present?
Yes.
Yes. And so Uncle Harry lives on as an aspect of consciousness, but even when the greater soul then decides to learn more lessons, Uncle Harry's aspect will reincarnate. But it is quite true that a recipient of soul energy that is imbued in an organ, aspects of that entity will be felt by the recipient. Suddenly, one who has never danced before has a desire to dance a jig. This is for physical aspects. Physical matter is first and foremost of the soul. The soul forms the pattern for the matter. The chicken before the egg before the chicken. We hope you understand that without the soul, once the soul leaves the body, the physical matter returns to ashes and dust. But if that physical matter is put into another body, this is a cooperative engagement of two souls, and the soul force, the life force of the recipient's body now animates that physical matter. But it is a joining, and therefore the aspects of consciousness and the personality traits are shared now. We hope we have not confounded you with this explanation. Is there another question?
Yes, from Janine. I've been fearful in the past of opening up to higher guidance because of concern about connecting with beings of lower vibration that might mislead me. What advice do you have on this?
This is a very good question. The advice for all of you is to remember who you are, to go into the heart and know you are love. Feel the light within and turn it up. And know that darkness does not like the light. Any fears are of the human side. The soul is fearless. The more you come to know yourself as a soul, the less you will even remember to take protective measures. For you will simply know, I am the light. And yes, lower vibrations do exist, for in a world of duality, you have high and low. And these are creations of human consciousness. But these lower vibrations are attracted to lower vibrations. They feed upon fear. It is quite challenging for those who are fearful to not attract exactly what they do not want. And so you are well advised to take protective measures such as asking for intervention from your angels and your guides to protect you, erecting a shield of light around you when you connect with higher guidance. But as we have stated at the beginning of this answer, the more you know yourself as the light, the less you will feel the need to protect yourself. For your light will burn brighter and brighter and brighter, so much so that you will automatically burn off any lower vibrations. You are the light. Come to know that. Set this as your goal. I am love. I know who I am. I am the light. Feel that light radiating out now. You have all just turned up your dimmer switch. We saw that burst. You are listening quite well, and we thank you. If you could see the radiations emanating from you, you would repeat this process throughout your day, repeating often, I am the light, and you would be fearless. And you would be so filled with love that you would attract to you only love. Such gratitude would come through you for having cast off the fear, and you have done it merely by shifting your focus to what matters most, who you are, remembering yourself as light. This one is growing a bit tired of holding the vibration. We will answer one or two more questions and then end with a lesson for all of you about holding that light. One more question, please.
Angie asks, have there been beings other than humans in the Earth School?
Most definitely. There are beings of light with you to help you at all times. You know them as angels. There are also this one has no word for it, the fairies that you would understand, the nature spirits, this you know. This one does not have the background to speak of this, but there are beings here to help you at all times. Many of you have seen them with your eyes, afraid to tell others what you have seen. Trust them. They are aspects of consciousness here to help you, for we are aware of how challenging it is to walk in the world of duality, and you do not walk alone. Another question.
Mike asks, is it possible to help someone who is terminally ill with dementia to pass over more quickly?
Is it possible to ask one terminally ill with dementia to pass over more quickly? So we wish you to understand that the lessons in the case of one with dementia are for those around that one. And so the longer they last, the more the lessons are needed here. The greatest opportunities for compassion, for understanding, for service to a fellow human being as they regress to a childlike state. May it help you to know that that one with dementia is already playing in the spirit world. They have not lost their mind. They have lost the functioning of the brain. The soul is fine. Give them love, and they are serving their purpose by being here for you. May you see with new eyes, with the eyes of the soul, and know that the opportunity to serve another soul is one of the greatest opportunities given to a human being. Another question, please.
From Beth, why was Jesus sent to us in that specific time in our human history?
For the world was ready for new news, for news that would shake up the world, for news that ears were not quite ready to hear, that would shift the balance, that would get others to pay attention, that would speak of kindness and compassion. Such a mark did he make upon your world that whole worlds changed. Few others have had such impact as that one, and he continues to have this impact on the world. But did he not say, these things that I do, you can do as well? All of you tuned into our words this evening can be messengers of the same message of love and kindness. And this is why we do this work, to encourage you to share the good word of who you all are and what matters most. The perfect question with which to end with our lesson, which we wish to tell you, that all of your fears, all of your doubts and worries are born of one thing, and that is the thought that you are not loved or not loved enough. And we wish to tell you that were you to cast aside this human body, you would understand who you are. You would know, as we have stated earlier, I am the light. I am love in expression. I am love incarnate. Was this not the message of Jesus and other masters. You can become a master yourself when you understand, I am love. I am here to be that. And this is why it is so very important, and why we encourage all of you to have a spiritual practice which includes connecting with your team on a daily basis, accessing higher consciousness so as to know you do not walk alone, so as to know how very loved you are. We adore you. Do you not crave words such as this spoken in your ear? And it is truth with a capital T. We cherish you. We admire you for your bravery in coming to this earth school. We cannot say it enough to you until you say it to others around you, until you know that you need no other human being to say it to you, for your connection with the soul, with the higher aspects of you, is so firmly rooted in your awareness that it cannot be destroyed. You are so very loved. These are the words to change your world. Carry them with you. Be that which you are, and watch as the light burns ever brighter. Thank you for joining us this evening. We pray that our words have made a difference in you, that you have heard with the ears of the soul. You are so very loved. We bid you good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Yes. Let me see. How long was that? Wow. That was a long time, huh?
Yeah.
So they usually speak about 32
32
minutes. How long?
Usually speak about 32
32 minutes, yeah. It's kind of, I don't know how long that was, but that's
That's
about
a
the
long
longest I've ever held it.
Almost 45 minutes.
Yes, but I wanted to make it worth your while, especially to those of you who so kindly allowed others to join us. And there were some interesting questions. Bev, thank you for choosing those. I want to tell you that Bev has her own team of guides, and she tunes in quite often when I'll say, hey, Bev, I want to bounce something off of you. And she'll ask her team, and I ask my team, and the answers are almost always the same. So that's why I knew that that she would look at those questions, and they would just kind of be highlighted for her, which one to ask. And so I look forward to listening to the recording later. We recorded this, and we'll probably put it up on YouTube, and we'll let you know where the link is when it's available. I look forward to hearing them, because I'm not exactly sure what came through, but it sure felt good. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. I encourage all of you to sit in the silence a little bit, enjoy this energy that we've been surrounded with this evening. I thank this group here for your love, because I could feel it, feeling the love from all of you around the world. Thank you so much for your dedication to this journey. I think we heard this evening that it really makes a difference.
I want to thank everyone for the questions. There were 116 questions.
116 questions.
They were all from the heart, but I think others will get their answers.
That's right. And we're heading off on the road a month from now. Ty and I are taking the bus for another 6-month tour around the country, taking my Serving Spirit class and other workshops. Be sure to check the events calendars. Maybe I'm coming to your neck of the woods. And we'll ask Sanaya when we'll be doing another one of these. Why don't you all stay on and just chat, show some little chats on the bottom to everybody. Let us see where you were from. Bev's going to put some slides up. We'll keep this running for about 15 minutes without us, just slides on the screen. but you can write your chat and we'll get to see all of that because it comes out on the list. But so much love to all of you. I hope that you get a lot and go forth and just spread the ripples. I love you all. Thank you and good night.